Hello, I haven't seen you for a long time. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
Great. Today, I'd like you to tell me how was your life in Sendai like last year?
Yeah, actually, it is like the legend of Sisyphus. Do you know the legend?
Yes, a Greek hero, Sisyphus, was imposed a punishment in which he lifted a heavy stone again and again, and he never accomplished the task, right?
Yeah, exactly. Um, my my life in Sendai was just like that at first.
What do you mean?
In the morning, the noise of the alarm clock woke me up, and I had a tasteless breakfast I made by myself. After that, the clock struck 9 o'clock. I opened the Google Classroom, the name I had never known before, and watched a series of classes. In the afternoon, the war began. In the war, the enemy was my homework, and the battlefield was my computer. The gunshot of the keyboard echoed in the silent room. When I came to myself, the sun was now casting a dim light in the corner of my small room. And it disappeared soon behind Mount Auber. After that, the silence of the night prevailed around me. Such a monotonous life repeated itself over and over.
Well, your life in Sendai seems to be intermigration.
What is my intermigration?
Intermigration is an Buddhist idea that human beings repeat their life and death over and over, which lasts forever. In your life, you repeated a cycle in which you wake up, have a meal, take classes, do homework, meal again, and go to bed. Therefore, your life in Sendai was very similar to intermigration, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a very interesting analogy, I suppose.
Okay, by the way, today I want you to tell me how did you interpret the situation of COVID-19 from the view of literature? For you've been very interested in literature since you were a high school student.
Yeah, actually, it reminded me of the term absurdity.
What do you mean?
French author Albert Camus mentioned that the world where we live is in a state of chaos. It is difficult for us to understand how the world really is, only with our reason, which he called absurdity. Now COVID-19 is prevailing all over the world, ruining traditional values or systems, and making the world chaotic. For example, what we believed was a student life was easily ruined by the coronavirus. Therefore, the COVID-19 crisis is a kind of absurdity. In front of the absurdity, we humans are just like reeds bending in the wind. We are powerless. However, if we want to live a meaningful life, we shouldn't shrink, but we should take some action so that we can afford some meanings to our life. My friends in Tohoku in time rose up to resist the absurdity.
Could you tell me the resistance?
Yeah. As you know, I'm studying literature at Tohoku University, and first year students of our university should take a class called Kisozemi.
What is exozemi?
Yeah, it is a class in which students learn academic skills needed in studying and researching at the university. Kiso means basis.
Okay, I had a similar course at my university. Please go on.
Three students from the Department of Science got to know each other in the class and one day formed a project team. They soon started up a series of interesting projects so that they can encourage and connect their classmates who were struggling along at the time. The chief of the team was Mr. Tomidokoro from the Department of Mathematics, and the others were Mr. Kamei from the Department of Chemistry and Mr. Kanai from the Department of Earth Science. One day, later, one student from the Department of Literature joined the team. Can you guess who he was?
Of course you want you.
Yes, it was me, you know. I think the biggest event this team had ever planned was an online escape game. on Zoom. Some people may doubt if such a project can be possible. Of course, it was a very challenging attempt. However, Mr. Tomidokoro and his fellows, including me, managed to carry it out with a vitality and creativity. Team Tomidokoro courageously resisted the absurdity by taking action.
Thanks. According to your story, your friend and you took action to fight against the virus. Actually, I recently read novel, which has the very similar idea with Camus' resistance. It was The Seven Scrolls. Do you know this novel? Have you ever read that?
I don't know the novel.
Really? This novel is set in Germany just before World War II, which was governed by Nazis. In this story, Georg, who was once apprehended by Nazis, tries escaping from the camp and exile. In this story, I think absurdity, the Camus idea, appears in the form of division. Of course, this division was caused by Nazis. Let me give you some examples. First, in this novel, the very brother of Georg becomes a member of Nazis and try to capture him while he is taking refuge. We can say it is a division among family, brothers. I'll show you another example. In this story, almost all of the children were indoctrinated by Nazis and take part in organizations such as TEDxYouth. Therefore, workers who fight for social justice fear that they are deprived of their children by Nazis. Of course, they believed that their children would succeed their movement. We can say this is division among generations. Thus, under the control of Nazis, traditional and natural human relationship was broken down so easily. Actually, I had a similar experience under the emergency of COVID-19. I entered Waseda University this April. However, I hardly had classes at my campus last year. Instead of that, I had online classes. Actually, I had some real-time classes via Zoom. However, I seldom saw the faces of my friends. Therefore, I exactly don't know who they are or what they are interested in. Therefore, though I was connected with them online, I was physically inclined to be alone, literally alone. It was division of friendship. Friendship is perfected by seeing each other. However, Anna Zegers is the author of the Seven Scrolls. How to fight against the crisis in this novel, The Seven Scrolls. In this novel, I mentioned before, Georg tried escaping from the camp and exile to foreign countries. However, he never accomplished such a feat without help of his friend. Georg's friend at first faltered at harboring him for fear that they are informed onto Nazis by his or her neighbors. Of course, this is a perfect example of division among community members. However, they finally decide to save him, and which made union among themselves. So, according to this novel, we have to make union to fight against the crisis. It is also true in the case of COVID-19. We should make union to fight against the virus.
We can find such a rebellious writer in our country. His name was Ango Sakaguchi. he was as old as Osamu Dazai. Sakaguchi wrote an essay titled On Japanese Culture in 1942.
What does he say in the essay?
In the essay, he denied traditional sense of Japanese beauty, and he insisted that only necessity kept true beauty inside, and he found true beauty in such things as a building of a prison, a factory of dry ice, or a destroyer, kind of military ship worship. He said that these things kept true beauty because they had been created only out of necessity. He even said that Japanese culture would be fine even if all statues of Buddha in Kyoto had been destroyed. As I mentioned before, this essay was written in 1942 under the situation of World War II. At the time, including Sakaguchi, people were deprived of any liberty. However, Sakaguchi resisted with courage. He resisted the traditional value and tried to establish a whole new one. Literature have a strong power to overcome a cruel reality and establish a whole new value.
Thanks. I learned that literature can be a form of resistance. We are facing critical situations now. However, we should make union, share our ideas, and take action. By doing so, I believe, we conquer the virus and create a new culture. It is a whole new culture, I think. Thank you for talking with me today.
Thank you.